I figured so. That's what you just said. I was doing this really
All right, I think that we don't have a lot of time, so we'll get going and start as people filter in. It's kind of early. I mean, these usually pack up, but we'll start talking a little bit about capital raising. I mean, I see a lot of fun guys in here, so I don't know how much capital raising we can talk about. But what time is it? Does anybody know? 7:30. All right. Let these people keep going. Okay. This will be quick. Kind of. Yep. All right. So we'll start going. So, how many people are in the fun game? Actually, have fun going right now. Can we see a hand? Anybody? 1, 2, 3, maybe. All right. So this is going to be a workshop. It's a huge setting, I know, a little cavernous, but we're going to do a workshop. So I'll give a little presentation on, we're in an unprecedented time for raising capital. The Jobs Act represents the first major change in securities laws in over 80 years. And so I'll cover a little bit of the Jobs Act and the title that is covered, and then we can open up to questions, or I can talk the whole time. It really doesn't matter. All right? Maybe we start and we'll go around and just give your name and your company. Let's not get into too many commercials, and then we can meet each other afterwards. I've spoke at this IMN event since it's begun, twice a year, every year since it's begun, and it's really grown into something special. A hub for the single-family dispersed rental business, right? So why don't we start here? What's your name? Okay, where are you at? All right, well, welcome, Wahid. I look forward to it. We have some assets for you. Let's go. All right, next.
David Everett, I'm Detroit, Michigan, with Marketplace Homes.
Detroit, welcome to Florida. I know it's a perfect winter.
Mike Hillis with Marketplace Homes out of Detroit as well.
Awesome, welcome.
Brad Bolton out of Orlando with Zero Properties.
Nice, welcome. Formerly with Wayback.
Yeah.
Oh, Lexington, yeah.
Pete Laird, Orlando, Florida, Zero Properties.
Welcome. Great market up there. Perfect.
John Germain out of Jacksonville, Florida, on the acquisition side of the business.
Welcome.
Mike Davis out of Clearwater, Florida, law firm.
Welcome.
Michael Massey, Elijah with Capital out of Connecticut, Washington.
Welcome. Great market.
David Luthinger, Colorado, California, German Capital.
Nice, well, welcome along the flight.
First Advantage, Kinlock Partners, Atlanta International.
Welcome. We have some assets for you too.
Sutter City, Hancock, South Texas.
Welcome.
City of Hancock.
Welcome.
Life, Florida, Atlanta. And Carl Anderson with Capital Atlanta. Jason Wood, Atlanta.
Welcome.
California, Fort Lauderdale, U.S.
All right, you guys want to introduce yourselves in the back? Or
Brian Barrett, private acquisitions teams in Atlanta.
welcome.
Ron Barrett,
Welcome. Well, welcome all. I know it's early. It's going to be a great conference. Everybody is here. Usually this event is 600 to 700. We're at 1,200 now, and I didn't see the last numbers. So, like I said, this has really been the hub for the institutional investors. Me, myself, I've worked at everywhere from the FDIC to Fannie Mae to a couple institutional investors to small funds, and I've really seen the growth of this business in the FDIC. We really started it when we closed the banks, when we sold off their assets, and we started grouping them into bulk sales, which is something the FDIC never did. They did it a little bit in the RTC days, but really we saw the formation of this market. Since 2008 till now, it's really grown. And with the new instrument, it's called a new instrument to securitize the assets. It's called a single-family rental pass-through certificate. How many people have heard of that, by the way? Right. So this is the new instrument. It's kind of like a CMBS, a commercial mortgage-backed security, and it's what the big institutions are using to securitize the rental streams of the single-family asset. So I'll tell you a little bit about the Jobs Act and kind of what it represents in capital formation, and then we'll kind of open it up to questions and see if we can get something going. And like I said, if we sputter, I'll come back. So like I said, we're in a revolutionary time in raising capital. The Jobs Act represents the first major change in the securities law in over 80 years. The government, to its credit, recognized that the way way businesses conduct represents a fundamental change with the advent of social media, high-speed internet, and mobile technology. And the Jobs Act was their first attempt to change the securities laws for what is today. So the Jobs Act is Jumpstart Our Business Startups is what the acronym is for. So it kind of got drowned down there in, a lot of people call it crowdfunding, really only one provision, Title III is crowdfunding. But it kind of got started down here when the capital markets froze up in 2008. A firm down here said, you know, enough is enough. They went to Congress. Usually it takes 10 years, a decade to pass a new law, especially a revolutionary law when it comes to things like securities. But the Jobs Act passed in 10 months with unbelievable support. I think it was 90-something% that passed it, right? Granted, it was the middle of the recession. But the Jobs Act and how it changes things are this, is that Title II of the Jobs Act, which is the first part that passed, lifts the ban on solicitation for raising capital. How elementary do we want to get here, by the way? So if you're going to raise money from private individuals, once you get past family and friends, and you want to start going to other people, there's a whole set of laws, the SEC and FINRA, that govern that raise. And you either need to go to a broker-dealer, so let's say that if I were going to go public, and I wanted to raise money on the stock exchange, I'd have to go to a broker-dealer, do the whole road show, roughly $4 million to take a company public. So unless you're going to look for $100 million, you really wouldn't want to go public. You do a private placement or some sort of other offering. So for many years, the 33 and 34 Act, after the Depression, they came up with a Reg D private offerings, which allowed you to circumvent the securities laws by doing what are called private placements. It's private placement, PPM, and you could go to accredited investors, and some exemptions for unaccredited, but they had to have a net worth of 250. An income of 250 or a net worth of $1 million, and there are rules to that. But you couldn't advertise. But people had to be known to you. So it was somewhat limited. I wouldn't say it's limited. There was about $1 trillion in 2012 raised for through title or through alternative investments, mostly institutions. But with the passing of the Jobs Act and Title II, it lifted the ban on solicitation, and the gates are out now. It used to be that I had to qualify somebody as accredited or unaccredited, and then I could show them the investment. Title II allows me to show anybody the investment and then qualify them before they make an investment. So this is Title II of the Jobs Act. Realty Mobile, patch of land, crowdfunding. They talk about this. You can talk to that. You can talk to them about it if you want more. Next is Title IV that just passed about 60 days ago. It didn't pass, but the regulations were finally met. This will be the game changer. So this takes an obscure law that's been around for 50 years, Reg A, which was limited to $5 million, and you could do a public offering, $5 million. If it doesn't, you'd still have to go to a broker-dealer, but you'd have to register with every state. And so the cost made it useless, because to register with every state and only be able to do $5 million, kind of useless, right? Well, Title IV of the Jobs Act resurrected Reg A with a fancy new name called Reg A+. Reg A+ allows you to, there are two tiers, Tier 1 up to 20 million, Tier 2 up to 40 million. And the good thing about Tier 2 is you don't have to register with the states anymore. So this will be a big game changer. So there are other provisions that are coming. Title III in the Jobs Act will be crowdfunding, which will allow unaccredited investors to invest in alternative investments or non-Wall Street kind of investments. So it's a great time to be in this business. There's never been a better time to raise money for small funds or small offerings. And you know, I could go on, but as this is an interactive workshop, I'd like to get some feedback on questions, comments, complaints, concerns, suggestions. Anybody questions? We want to start it off, or should I keep going? I know Steve's here from IMN. He's going to yell at me if I don't turn it into a workshop. I'll just talk. So, how many people are looking to raise money to buy pool homes right now? All right, good. It's a great time to do that. Where we are in the cycle right now with single-family homes is that, it really started out back in, 2008, 2009, 2010. Couldn't find money. If you knew what you were doing as a wholesaler, you kind of reached your max at maybe 100, 250 these homes, and then you're kind of out of money looking for capital, right? And then the institution guys came in, Blackstone, 510 Capital, all those guys, and they started making these. They created a new product, which is that allowed you to do a blanket loan on a large portfolio. So if you're looking for a portfolio Good way to do it now is to do a Title II offering with some kind of institutional debt to take it out on the side. And I talked to B2R or 510 Capital or some of the other guys to do that. Who here has a portfolio of homes that they've raised money on before? You want to tell us a little bit about your story and how? When do you start, Dave? Tell us a little bit about how many homes do you have now? Do you want to get into it?
Yeah, I'm unsure.
All right, fine.
Over 1,000.
Over 1,000, right? Good. And then, so did you raise the money in a private placement, or was it financing and private placement?
PPM.
PPM. All right, so that's a good way. Private placement is. So let me tell you a little bit about the cost of capital, right? So if I wanted to do a private placement to do a Reg D offering, right, which has been around for 50 years, 80 years, right? So the better the attorney, the more comfortable the investors feel in investing that. They feel, look, if this guy doesn't even know what he's doing, at least he has a good attorney and will all be protected, right? So a good private placement from someone like Greenberg or Turek or something like that, $35,000 to $45,000, right? Can't advertise, those are people known to you, plus printing costs, right? To get it out there, it costs you $25,000 to $30,000, I would say, right? Anyone have anything different? Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do with your homes?
Yeah, we're a single-family production builder out of Dallas.
Okay. So what does that mean? So you build, you find the lots and build the homes?
Yeah, we pretty much ground up, we develop our own lots, develop our own construction.
Okay.
So we came out of that mostly because of the inventory shortages.
Right.
So we were basically able to produce our own product, add value. And so right now we're about 300 homes, we'll be about another 350 this year, just in the DFW market.
Congratulations. So how are you getting money for them? So is it self-finance? How did you start?
We're passively in that over
Friends and family. For 350 homes, that's a big ad. Great.
It's been fun.
It has been fun. Luckily, this market is, so it's never been a better time not only to raise capital for everything, but in this market, it's finally established, up until, we'll see how it goes this conference, but even at the last conference that I was at, the number one objection in this marketplace is, it's impossible to manage a single-family dispersed portfolio to have yields that are saleable in the secondary market, right? He said that, there isn't, you can't do it effectively like multifamily because just the cost of management is too onerous, right? But I knew that was wrong because, the taxpayers paid for us at the FDIC to establish these networks of independent contractors that allow you to manage these these dispersed portfolios of homes. So we figured it out in the government during the downturn, and we got it wrong a lot of the times, but there's this great network of third-party vendors that you can use to manage these assets effectively. And even more importantly is the financial markets have caught up with this. We see big players like Blackstone and Goldman Sachs in the form of Progressive Residential, Blackstone and Education Homes, and then Starwood in the point of Waypoint. And they've developed debt products to help you get your financing now. It used to be 2 or 3 years ago, people would say, you'd be if you were out of money in 350 homes, there were no solutions for you. Because traditional, debt would limit you to 10, 15 homes on a conforming type loan. Maybe you could get some kind of hard money that would go up there, but the cost was usually too much to make an effective return. And now there are all kinds of debt products for single-family dispersed portfolios. Wednesday, I'm doing the Shark Tank panel where we'll pitch a portfolio of homes, and the lenders will be there. And so you can come, and there's another one tomorrow also, so you can kind of pitch it out there, and the lenders will tell you kind of the products. So these weren't available up until 2 or 3 years ago, and really they weren't functional until about a year ago. And now there's all kinds of debt, all kinds of money on the market. It seems like everybody's kind of exiting their funds in equity and going into debt. So a lot of opportunity for you there. Also on your homes, crowdfunding is a good option for you. So Title II crowdfunding is a great way to do it now. So you can do a private placement, and depending on the type of exemption, it lets you do what you want to do. So if you're doing a 506B, this allows up to 35 unaccredited investors, and I think the law will go up to 2,000 or something like that before you have to go public. But it's known to you. Now, if you do a 506C, which is a Title II, you can start soliciting the offerings and start advertising using the power of the internet. So we work with companies to do crowdfunding, and it's really as simple now. You can do, before it was a little bit more difficult you got to qualify the person, they have to be known to, you have to do business. Now we have a 2-page worksheet using social media blog effectively that anybody can build a crowd, and then depending on what you're doing, you can solicit money from the crowd. So the changes that the Job Act has had in only the year since the regulations have been proposed is phenomenal. There's expected to be $2.5 million in Title II raised this year. It's going to be a $300 million marketplace when it's all done. Anyways, questions, comments, complaints, concerns, suggestions? Yes? Okay.
Where would I go from here? Places or go outside or
Sure. Yep.
talk about.
Yeah, no, I understand, and I throw in the 506B and everything to make it sound fancy, but I'll tell you in a second, we can talk after too. Any questions? So, is it hard money right now? So this is the typical place where wholesalers get. They learn their craft, they have expensive money, and now they're looking for a cheaper solution. Any comments? Suggestions? Where do you suggest you go after hard money? Hard money is a little, what's the rate of like? Oh, that's pretty good. I mean, Oh, I think that's right. We got to talk. Yeah, so typically the graduate, so usually it's a mix of different money sources, right? So, when we work with people and we teach people, we do what's called the funding ion. It's the idea, the operator, and the network, right? Good ideas, good properties fund themselves, good deals. Good operators can usually find capital, and in this day and age with Title II, good networks, big networks can fund themselves, can provide capital. So if I were you, where I would be at right now is keep your private money sources, right? And do you have a portfolio of homes, or you're starting to assemble them? And I mean with something like B2R, or who else is out there that can look at that? 8% is a good amount. So, B2R and some of these other lenders that will do blanket loans on the entire portfolio would probably be a good place for you to look. I'd also talk with Realty Mogul and Patch of Land, which are crowdfunding portals. But they kind of act as they're kind of a hard money lender, so the rates might not be competitive with the 8%. Right.
So there's most out there about like go to the next level and count.
Right. Well, so there you go. Yeah. So all of these, so B2R and these guys, I'm not that familiar with their products. Usually you have to have an established portfolio, and they'll take you out. But make sure before you, make sure that you can. So managing a portfolio of rental homes is difficult, right? So I see a lot of people assemble a big portfolio of homes and think that they're going to manage it effectively with the cap rate. So it's a whole other game than just wholesaling. But make sure that you're ready for that, and that you have the staff to do that accurately figure out your costs, and then sit down with the lender and see the options, because there is more debt in the marketplace than there are deals right now, for sure. And we can talk after this too. Any other questions, comments, complaints, concerns, suggestions? Yes? No? Maybe? It's a quiet crowd. Usually I can't shut everybody up. Usually I do the crowdfunding one. Alright, so what else do we have? Alright, so like I said, the Jobs Act is having a revolutionary impact on the way people raise money. Wednesday afternoon, Patch of Land and I, after the conference at 6 o'clock in Wynwood, I don't know if you guys know that, we're doing a meet and greet. It's sold out, but if you guys want to come, we're going to do a class on how to crowdfund your next real estate deal, and we'll go over the specifics on how to build a crowd, how to put together an offering, how to select the portal, so on and so forth. So, any other questions, comments, complaints, concerns? Yes, no? Yes.
So, I guess I can just talk about it.
Sure, I'll repeat.
So we put together almost 2,000 properties, all on options, because for a long time we didn't get capital on it.
So what do you mean options? So you control the contract?
Yeah. Okay, so we option a bunch of properties across a bunch of states.
All individual, or is it one portfolio?
Well, one at a time.
How long are the options?
6 years.
Oh,
so they're on process to expire.
Right.
So we're trying to find options to be some ways to get the exercise those options.
Sure.
And I guess on the crowdfunding thing, like that sounds really interesting to me, but I'm mostly wondering, like, has anyone actually executed on that?
Yeah, for sure. There was over $1 billion executed through Title II. So it's only been legal for a year and a half. You talk to Realty Mogul and Patch of Land, they'll give you examples all day. not only executed on it, they've executed on it very creatively. I mean, because they lifted the ban on the ability to solicit to advertise